Hello, hello, hello. Alright, we'll watch this debate. 4.5 hours. I don't know if I'll watch the whole thing, but there's this. Content deputy. Oh my god, look at those shitty tattoos. He's one of those nerds that thinks getting tattoos and being polyamorous makes him edgy. I mean, ridiculous. Oh my goodness, he's still... Nobody cares! This isn't 2017 anymore. And let's be real, I think I might have said this on one of my other streams, my older streams, is that iDubbbz was never funny to begin with. None of these guys were ever funny to begin with. You just grew up, and I have a little bit of a different perspective. These guys did came out the perfect time for me, you know, at the perfect age, but the thing is that they also came out at a weird time where you know, I was getting a little too old, you know, and so by the time I was, you know, in my like late teens, like adult, you know, starting my adulthood and stuff, and like 20 and stuff, that was at these guys' peak of success when I was like 18, 19, 20. But the problem is that for me is that, you know, that's kind of where, you know, you start, you know, you don't watch these type of videos anymore. When you kind of hit that age, you're like, immature nonsense. It's kind of like when I turned 15 or 16 is like when I stopped watching like Angry Reviewer, like Angry Video Game Nerd, JonTron, things like that. You know, there's certain things, like, you grow out of things quickly. Like when I hit middle school is when even though I was kind of the perfect age for it, I grew out of Smosh. You know, there's things like that. You just hit, you know, you just grow out of things. But all the people I know that still are into this stuff are like really like weird lefty, poly, mismatched colors freakazoids.
Everyone, welcome back to another episode of Content Deputy. Now, normally in a Content Deputy, I would dance around in my cop outfit in the woods, but this video isn't going to have any of that fanfare. We're just going to get straight into it. I was hoping that if I made a video...
And Ethan is right. Sam broke Ian. He broke him completely.
About Ethan, he would act like an adult, and he would keep the attacks directed at me and Anissa. Unfortunately, I was wrong in thinking that, because Ethan, in a desperate attempt to...
Another huge day for unemployed. As of 2 days ago, I'm unemployed, but as an empath, I can feel that you and H3 have some underlying tension going on. This is the retirement phase for this side of YouTube. Sir, they hit the second. Okay.
Started attacking our charity event.
I don't know if you noticed, but the last year they lost $250,000. To be charitable, you actually have to give money to charity, Hasan. You have to give money to be charity. It's like a slush fund for them.
Ethan and Neela are well aware that we raised $1.3 million for charity the first year of Creator Clash. The second year we operated at a loss, and I take full responsibility for that. We did band together. The community and the fighters involved ended up raising $175,000 for charity. It's been really disheartening to see how often Ethan will attack Creator Clash.
Our POV is like, fuck everybody, and I don't want to hear any excuses. You're not my friend, and you never were. came to us.
For anyone confused about the timeline, Ethan was talking shit about us on his Instagram before any CPS shit. He was also talking shit about us on his podcast. Sounds like based on this clip, you knew that it was bullshit and you just went with it anyway. We did not have a close relationship with people using CPS as harassment, and now all of their...
Okay, we don't watch any more of that cuck. Let's watch the 4.5, dude. This shit's long. This shit's longer than the Godfather movies. This shit's longer than Love Exposure. This shit is like, dude, this is like fucking Santiago or some shit. Oh wow. Oh wow. Is this the real studio? This can't be. No. It is not. It's CGI.
Hello, everybody. It's your host, Ethan Klein.
Wow, he's dressed like a normal guy for once. Like, he's dressed kind of nice for once. Very formal. He doesn't look like a slob like usual. Wow. I mean, Ethan looks actually good here. He looks like a, Israeli businessman. And, his drip is horrendous a lot of the times. But Ethan doesn't have the worst drip. Who does have the worst drip of all time is Anthony Fantano. His drip, and Anthony Fantano's gross too. Anthony Fantano actually thinks he is fashionable and is sexy. Anthony Fantano actually thinks he's sexy. That's the sick part of it.
It's the H3 show. The date is the 2nd of May, and it is the long-awaited Leftovers reunion. How nice. We're back together.
I hope this show isn't copyrighted for a reason.
It's going to end a lot better than the second time, right? I mean, it's going to end a lot better the second time than it did the first time, right? How could it be worse?
I would love for that to be the case, sure.
Hasan is calling in, of course, at 12:30. I have 10 minutes to schlep around here. So I want to say, first of all, thank you to Shopify.
When she came home yesterday.
Well, we're all very happy for you, baby.
It's time. Welcome to the show, everybody. Hasan Piker.
Hello, Hasan Piker.
What's going on?
Well, I'm doing a debate. What about you?
That's what I'm doing as well. All right. Wait, hold on. Oh, are you going to show me all the time as well on the Zoom call?
Here, I can fix that. 1 second. Let me just set it to Ethan's output here.
If you want,
there you go.
If you want, just show not just Ethan, but yourself as well. If you're going to talk, that's fine.
Hey,
I don't
Hasan,
know if it's too difficult.
leave the production notes to my team. You can switch your show how you like.
Well, they were my coworkers as well, Ethan.
Well, it's been a while.
Oh shit!
They are not now.
No, I know.
So let's start. I mean, so you did this content cup, right? And I mean, did that go how you expected? It didn't seem to hit very hard.
Before we get started, can I lay some ground rules so we can have a productive conversation?
Sure.
Yeah. Okay. So, I wanted to come on to make this as issue specific as possible, but yes, you have grievances with me, and of course, I think they're valid.
Is that dog in the background dead? Okay, let's look at the stuff in his room. Writers Guild of America. Oh yeah, that's when what's that? Matan pranked him. Obama with the Queen. That's a very ugly photo to have. Yeah. One Piece rug. Oh, this guy's a fanook.
Okay, good.
Of course, we'll talk about that. Hopefully, I'll be able to address some counterpoints as well, if you will allow me in that process.
Absolutely.
But before we get started on anything, I would like to potentially talk about definitions so we can have like an established definition on a lot of the things that we're going to be talking about. Is that okay with you?
I mean, it depends how many definitions you got. What do you want to define? I don't want to get bogged down in this, so let's...
I'm also experiencing audio issues on my end, so
sure.
hold on
Go
one
ahead.
second.
No worries. No worries.
Okay. All right, so you're fine with that?
I mean, I'll do up to a point, yeah.
Well, I mean, like...
I don't want to get bogged down in a conversation.
It's not like a gotcha.
Go ahead, start. No, I know you're not.
Okay,
I just want to get going.
All right. So first and foremost, I think we should define what Zionism is and what you mean by Zionism and what I mean by Zionism.
Zionism is the belief that Jews should have their own homeland in the historic, Palestine area. That's it.
Okay. All right. So I believe that Zionism is a religious ethno-supremacist ideology.
Dog's live.
That revolves around the exterminationist policies of removing the indigenous population that lived in, as you said, historic Palestine, as long as they are not Jews, because it's a religious, ethno-religious supremacist ideology. I think that this is a disagreement that you and I have.
No, I agree with you. I agree with you. If you want to add that, like
there's truth to both of it.
Included, the displacement and the ravaging of the culture that existed there, then I would agree with you. I mean, I don't think that the establishment of Israel was like a good thing. I mean, it was tragic and a lot of bad things happened. But let me ask you, sir.
Okay.
How was filming that content? I just have to know what you felt, what you were thinking as they were doing the Fortnite L behind you.
We'll get to that. We'll get to
that. No. We're here. I don't want to talk about
okay.
definitions. You got your Zionism, and let's do the.
Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, it was fine.
Did you not?
I've participated in other YouTube videos as well in the past.
No, but that Fortnite L dancing.
Some of them feature sketches.
I noticed you weren't in the other shots. Why was that?
I think I was being interviewed
by
Who was a journalist while that was happening.
Really?
I don't remember.
Really? Oh, that's convenient. I think you were embarrassed, frankly. You were absent from every other shot. I think you saw him doing that. I think you saw him doing that Fortnite dance, and you said, "I got to get out of this." And by the way, I'm giving you credit for that.
I mean, Ethan, you're a comedian. You participated in some sketches. It happens.
I mean, shit. Yeah.
Really? You're one of your most famous sketches. You in a fucking diaper. Like, what are you talking about? Yeah. We've done funny things.
Okay, you know what? Let's not debate the merit of our comedy. You're right. I'm very hacky, and so are you.
Okay,
by the way, you believe that the likes were botted on that?
What?
You had said you thought the likes were botted on the content cop. Do you still believe that?
What? The likes were botted on the content cop?
The dislikes were botted. The dislikes, sorry. Yeah, you said it was brigaded and was botted. And it was unnatural, the dislikes on the video.
I don't really care about this. I don't know. I mean,
I'm asking.
I don't recall saying this, but I don't know why this is a major point of contention. All right, so you asked that question. Let's get back to some other definitions.
Hold on, let me finish, and then you can do your definition.
Okay.
Did you think it was?
Well, it's not my definition. I want to hear your definition.
That's fine. I'll answer how you like.
I hope you know that, like, I don't know if you know this, but I didn't publish the content cop. iDubbbz did.
Yes, I know that, and I've addressed him thoroughly.
All right.
Do you know that? Do you believe he should have included the context of the CPS call?
What?
What? You don't know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Wait. I'm a little confused. You are asking me.
Yes.
What my opinion is
on the video.
iDubbbz' content cop.
Correct. That's correct.
About the CPS? I don't know. Maybe. Sure. Okay.
Yes.
I mean, I think it was more so about like your year-long conquest of deplatforming and also
right. Well, 90% of the clips were from the episode entitled "CPS Came to My House," Hasan. I don't know if you think that's an important detail. I sure do.
Ethan, I think you know my position on this, as I've made it very clear. I think it's completely inappropriate to fucking call
No.
CPS.
That's obvious. I'm saying your friend...
Let's skip around, shall we? Oh, the sword. This was hilarious, dude. This is the only clip I've seen. The sword.
Starting from you and your community. Now, that's my answer to that. Now, let me ask you about this. This sword has a Nazi swastika hilt.
Okay.
Do you disagree? What's funny about that?
I know, it's true. It has a swastika. And this is the guy that, like, Hasan gets mad when people, like, make Nazi jokes and stuff, but I guess this is okay.
I think it's funny because you've made this a major point of contention. That's why I think it's funny.
It's a swastika, is it not?
Yeah, it's a sword that is a bleach sword, as you know already, that has a. As I've also noticed and have talked about on that you brought forward.
Yeah. Of course, you're conceding that because we fished this up. But yeah.
Such as when I made fun of, I believe it was Alexa that grabbed it, and I said, "Oh, you immediately go over the swastika one." Yeah, exactly. Do you think?
Anyway, my point is, Hasan, if I can continue my point, is that you knew it was a swastika sword. So why did you guys choose to pose with this sword?
Ethan?
Answer that. Why was the choice made for this sword?
I'm gonna gently explain this to you again. One, it's not a swastika, but regardless.
Do you think it looks like a swastika?
I did not make this editorial decision. I wasn't even.
Do you think it's reasonable to perceive?
Oh my God! Look at these fucking nerds. Holy. Got Billy Corgan. Got the JPEG Mafia with the MAGA cowboy hat. What is with Lacey? I know Lacey Green's a Persian, but she's just walking around like that now. She's not even Muslim. Isn't she like an atheist? But she's just walking around like that. And I don't know who this is. It looks like Mars Girl. Ugh.
That as a swastika?
Ethan,
answer the question. Is it reasonable to perceive that?
I don't think it was a deliberate decision that IDubbbz made, but I don't know. I don't know his mind.
Hasan, they're your swords, and according to the New York Times article, there was 10 options. So what's the chances that they chose the swastika one? That seems pretty slim.
Well,
you have 10 swords, don't you?
The week prior to that, I believe. I don't know the exact timeline. I don't really remember when they shot this, but I had the sword out because I was doing an Assassin's Creed promo. Do you feel like if I thought it was like genuinely a swastika sword, I would use it in an Assassin's Creed promo shot?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what we call a dog whistle, Hasan. And what you're doing is gaslighting somebody. You made a video. Let me make a point here, Hasan, because you're the king of microaggressions and understanding the perspective of minority groups.
True.
Right? So you made a video. You participated in a video accusing a Jewish. Let me finish my point, Hasan. No.
It was so intentional, dude.
Accusing a Jewish man of exaggerating anti-Semitism while exhibiting the most hateful symbol against Jewish people. Do you not see this as a problem, or at least am I insane for thinking this is odd?
Ethan, take a deep breath.
Answer the question. I don't need you to console me.
I didn't even hear your question. I need you to.
Well, you should try listening instead of speaking.
I'm just looking for clarification here. Do you think that I deliberately was using a dog whistle in an Assassin's Creed promo, or that it was a cool sword that was laying around because it's the only long sword that I have?
You have 10 swords.
I know, they're heavy. That's not a real sword.
So yes, I'm aware that it's not a real sword, but you had 10 to choose from. What does it matter how much they weigh?
Yeah, the other ones are heavy.
Let me paint a scenario. Hasan, let me paint a scenario for you, okay? Listen, okay? This is important. You participated in a video accusing a Jewish man of
Tourette's
anti-Semitism.
Intense.
You exhibited in that video the most hateful symbol against Jewish people. 1 out of 10 of your swords that you have previously already stated you know is the, quote, swastika sword. So am I insane for even... You're treating me like I'm insane for bringing this up, but it sounds pretty reasonable.
I mean, it's a little insane.
So yes. Microaggressions just don't exist for Jewish people.
You're asking me why iDubbbz.
It's your
made
sword,
this
bro. I don't
decision,
believe that you
and
weren't
I'm
there.
not iDubbbz.
You were
and
there, bro. It's in your fucking house.
I don't know. I don't know why you're asking me.
Because
why
it's
I
your
chose
house
that.
and your sword.
But I also gave you what my speculation is, and that is that
it was just
it's
a
most
cosmic
likely
chance.
because I had
Okay.
previously had it laying around because I had just done an Assassin's Creed promo.
Okay, if you say so. So if it's a cosmic fluke, which you claim, then why leave the photo up?
I'm not even in the photo. I don't.
I
think,
know
right?
it's in your
Am I
room
even
though,
in the-
and with your sword. Why leave the photo up if it's a cosmic fluke?
Wait, why are you asking me this question? I don't know. I'm not. Ethan.
I'm sorry,
I am
Hasan.
not
Are you
iDubbbz.
unable to make value judgments on situations?
Bro, he is Tourette'ing out this
Yeah,
episode.
Yeah, I don't think it's relevant or that big of a deal at all. If that's what you're trying to get out of me, like, yeah, I think it's not.
Okay, so you're
It's
telling a
what you
Jewish
are
man who's
perceiving.
complaining about a very
And
odd
also,
coincidence that I'm crazy and I'm
It's a score with
exaggerating.
emoji on it, Ethan. Can we? Okay, you got me. All right. I don't know what to tell you.
Oh, you got
Listen
me.
to
I put a swastika in the video calling you out for exaggerating
No, that's not what
anti-Semitism.
I'm saying.
You
I
got
didn't
me.
do that.
Yes, you did. You
Ethan,
literally did.
Ethan, I didn't do that.
Okay, laugh
But
about it.
again,
Go on.
It's not a swastika. And
Then
I don't
why should
even
he leave
think
it up?
you have that much of an issue with swastikas, considering you drew one on PewDiePie.
I'm a Jewish
So-
man, you fucking moron.
Oh, I didn't realize.
Is
the
anyone in
Nazis
that
only
room
killed
Jewish?
Jews.
Was
Is that
anyone
what
in that
happened?
room? Did I draw
Do the Nazis
swastika
only kill
one
Jews,
time
Ethan?
on?
Do you think that Jews have an exclusivity agreement with like being offended or not offended by Nazi imagery? You've done a Sig Heil
Don't be-
approximately what 50 times.
Why did I
since
do a
Elon
Sig
Musk did it?
Heil? Why did I do a Sig Heil?
I don't know.
Because because you only watch clips on Twitter.
wondering.
I was making fun of Elon Musk and trying to see if it was valid or not.
Oh, thank you.
And by the way, as a
Thank you for
Jewish man, are you
clarifying.
going
My
to tell black
bad.
people not to use the N-word?
Wait, what?
Are you going to tell black people not to use the N-word because it offends you?
Do you think this is an apt comparison?
Yes.
Yeah, it kind of is. It is.
So you think that being able to draw the your anti-Semitism radar is completely out of whack.
And
Do
who are you to
understand
say that to me?
Like,
You
that's the
posed
point
with
of
a
contention here.
swastika.
You're saying that it's not a swastika, and you know it's not a swastika.
I mean, it literally is a swastika.
No, it's not.
Let me
Is
see the
it?
swords in your background. Why didn't you choose one of those ones?
I didn't choose the sword, Ethan.
I don't believe you.
Do you think this is a productive use of our time?
Absolutely. So anyway, you say it's a weird cosmic fluke. Personally, if I think it was a weird cosmic fluke, you say basically it's not a swastika. The difference between the Hindu symbol and
But it's not.
Okay, right. The difference between the Hindu symbol
What
and
you
the
drew on
Nazi
PewDiePie,
swastika.
on the other hand, was a swastika.
I'll finish what I said. Yeah, I'm a Jewish man.
Dude, he is Tourette'ing out.
I'm just making sure.
On
Okay,
iDubbbz
so you
shirt
can-
10 years ago. You said this is the swastika sword, and you keep it in your house, and you use it and pose it in photos, attacking a Jewish man. The fact that you can't even concede that that looks
referred
bad.
to it as looking like a swastika when my friend picked it up.
So
if I genuinely thought it was a swastika memorabilia, do you think I would keep it in my house?
Dude, you're being so obtuse. I know it's not a swastika, right? And I know you know it's not a swastika, but it is literally a swastika also. Because the difference between a swastika and that Hindu symbol is this. You see what I'm doing? This is the difference. If you ask a Hindu person, would they walk around with a swastika sign?
Wait, so you know it?
Fuck
so you
no,
know it's
they
not
know
a
that
swastika,
looks
but
like
you
a
keep calling it
swastika.
a swastika sword. So I'm a little confused.
Ask your Hindu friends if they would walk around with like a swastika brandished. They know.
Okay.
Are you Hindu?
I am not Hindu.
Okay, interesting.
No.
So anyway, it was a cosmic
Wait,
fluke.
do you think that
brandished
only,
what I.
Do you think that only Hindu people have bleach swords? Like, what's going on?
That'd be cool if they did.
The symbol, not the sword. Okay, go ahead. So you think it was a cosmic fluke? There was 10 swords. He magically picked that one.
I can't. Again, I'm
and
speculating
he
on
left
the
it up.
decision making
If
of
it was
a
a mistake,
person
he could have
who I
deleted
am
it.
not. I'm not him.
Go ahead.
I don't
ask me-
know. Again, I'm gonna repeat myself here. I think I'm doing.
You
this
don't
a
need
lot.
to. Go ahead.
I am not.
Ask me the next
iDubbbz.
question.
I don't know what was going on.
I'm not
in his
accusing you of being
mind.
iDubbbz, Hasan, but you're acting like you're incapable of making value judgments on things because you're not
No, because
iDubbbz.
I already made the value judgment. I think you're being crazy.
Okay, well, Mr. Microaggressions thinks I'm being crazy. Very good. You have no problem telling Jewish people they're being crazy on what?
Yes.
It's like a blatant fuck. Go ahead, ask me the next
Yes.
question.
Yes, I don't.
Do you think
have a problem
if you could
telling
go back,
you're being crazy right now. You being Jewish has nothing to do with this.
Sure, I'm sure it doesn't. Do you think going back that it was a mistake to use that sword?
I don't really care about this at all.
Okay, fantastic. Well, that really shows where you're at on this. Go ahead and ask me a question.
Okay. So, since you believe that Israel is committing a genocide, what are the appropriate steps that people can take, both in the Western world and also regional actors can take, against this entity doing a genocide by your own admission, that you would consider to be appropriate? Because it feels like throughout this entire process, you have set boundaries on what you think
just
is
killing
inappropriate.
Civilians. That's the boundary.
As you have set boundaries on what you think is inappropriate.
Killing civilians.
And time and time again has said is outright anti-Semitic.
My boundary is killing civilians.
Okay, that's great. So
is that unreasonable?
That's a perfectly reasonable boundary to set.
Okay, good. So then
totally
we don't disagree.
Agree with you on that. Great.
Okay. So let me ask you the next one. Let me ask you about this Tabris tier list.
Hold on. I have a. Can I? Let me finish.
Well, you asked and I answered. Go ahead. You could go on a little bit more.
Okay. So hold on. Everyone's complaining about my volume on my side because we're using Zoom instead of Discord. So my fucking
go ahead.
Audio.
It's fine. Take your time to get the audio.
My audio keeps going up and down. Okay. So one of the first conversations that we had, you and I had, that led to the Leftovers podcast ending, was that you considered "From the River to the Sea, Palestine will be free" to be an anti-Semitic slogan. You said that Jews feel like this is an exterminationist slogan, and Jews fear this slogan in the United States of America.
Correct.
If you think that Israel's doing a genocide, do you feel like it is appropriate for Westerners in the United States of America and Palestinians and people of Palestinian descent to be able to use emancipatory slogans, or should they go to jail under the Trump administration?
Okay, I mean, these are pretty extreme questions. Now, I'm not making a value.
Holy shit, dude.
All I was trying to do.
I don't know much about Tourette's. Does it do that when you're like in stress mode, or if you're in stress mode, or there's a lot going on, do you Tourette's out more? I don't know. I don't know much about Tourette's, but interesting.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm trying to explain the Jewish perspective. I'm not trying to make a value judgment of it, but what I will tell you is that how do you feel about Norm Finkelstein?
Love Norm. I know he has said that it
Here's what he had to say about this.
I know what he said.
No. I want the audience to see this, Hasan.
Hold on.
Hasan, I want the audience to see this video.
This is not going to be a gotcha moment for you because I know Norm's position.
Good. I'm glad you know. Let's let the audience know, Hasan.
You know what I mean?
Hey, Hasan, let the audience watch the video.
I can have a nuanced and reasonable disagreement with a person that I actually admire.
So that's what we're having.
Like Norm. But I have
so it's nuanced and understandable with Norm. Let the audience watch the video, Hasan.
Okay.
Palestine will be free.
Let me go back. Yeah. Here's the Norm Finkelstein, a prominent figurehead in the Palestinian movement.
I know. I have more positions that I disagree with him on
the video
as well. Be free. I think it's a bad slogan. I know the slogan from the 1960s, the 1970s. It was a bad slogan then, and it's a bad slogan now. Because
Norman Finkelstein might be the most Jewish name of all time. Can you think of a more Jew name than Norman Finkelstein?
Much ambiguity. When you say from the river...
Someone's going to hit me with the cherry axe.
...to the sea, Palestine will be free. Obviously, a question arises. Okay, what happens to the Jews in that scenario? And some people will say, well, all it's about is everybody being free. But that's not what the slogan says. So I have, in recent weeks, I have voiced my concern that it's a bad slogan. And I said, just change it, tweak it. from the river to the sea, one
goat.
person, one vote, Palestinians will be free. And you can't answer that slogan.
Okay, we're skipping her. I don't care about that.
Oh my God.
Go ahead.
What is this?
Ethan? There's a genocide. You already reckon.
This
For
is the
what?
thumbnail that's still up. Now, let me ask you this, Hasan. Here's Frogan's thumbnail for the Sabra hummus tier list. In the F tier is me and Ben Shapiro. Ben Shapiro is not in the tier list. He has never...
Oh, is that not Lacy Green? I thought that was Lacy Green. Why does Ethan look like that?
or used. Why do you think Ben Shapiro is on the F tier?
Ethan?
Whoa, answer the question.
Again.
What, you're dodging?
I'm not iDubbbz.
Oh, but you
Frogan.
can't make value judgments suddenly on your friends who you've spent all this time defending.
No, because I don't care.
Well, I do.
I don't. Like,
I think it's great.
Dude, I swear that was Lacy Green at first. You could see why I would think that too. And she is Lacy Green's Persian, so I just kind of assumed it was her. And she does have like a Hasan associate and all that stuff, so.
Ben Shapiro there.
I don't know. I don't care. Probably because he's also
Probably
a
because he's
massive
Jewish?
fucking. What?
Because it's the most prominent Jewish creators on YouTube.
Do you think Ben Shapiro's Judaism is the reason as to why he would be on this?
100% without a doubt, yes.
Wait, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Hold
go ahead.
on.
Take your time. I know it's a lot to process.
Okay. Yeah, this is a lot to process.
Yeah, I know, man. It's tough. You really don't know what to say because it looks pretty bad.
No, because it's so fucking stupid.
Well, tell me then.
You look kind of dumb
So why is Ben
now.
there?
You look kind of insane.
Okay, very good.
That's
Why is Ben
I'm
there?
having a hard time. Like, I don't know why fucking Frogan made this thumbnail. And
Why
I
is
don't
Ben
care.
there?
I don't have any.
Cause he's a.
What is
I'm not gonna say it.
Because he's a prominent defender of Israel.
You're
I
quick to
suspect.
say that Jews aren't the only Zionists, right? So why is Ben Shapiro, of all the people in the world who are conservatives, who are Zionists, Christian Zionists, why Ben Shapiro? Me and Ben Shapiro and F tier, the two most prominent Jewish creators on YouTube? That's a coincidence, just like the swastika, huh?
Ethan,
These are two cosmic coincidences,
Ethan,
Hasan? They're really stacking up.
The tier list that you're talking about, first of all, the tier list that we're talking about was literally designed by a Jewish content creator who you advocated to ban, and he got banned.
Very good, and I'm glad he did. He definitely deserved it.
You called him a token Jew.
And I still stand by that. The man is just yeah.
So you get to draw swastikas on PewDiePie, but Rafi can't say that there is a tier list here where Sabra
This is
Hummus
Frogan's tier list. This is her.
Is the lowest. The Sabra Hummus, liking Sabra Hummus is the lowest tier.
Ben Shapiro.
And the highest tier is being able to get a Habibi pass. You, as a Jew, get to determine what other Jews are able to do. You're the Pope of the Jews, as Sam Cedar likes to
I'm
call
not
Ben
determining
Shapiro,
what they can do,
enough.
but this is
going on.
This is Frogan's bit. This is her stage. This is her bit. I mean, you can say the Jewish dude is the fall guy and did everything,
Ethan,
but that's not true.
Wait, so you get to draw swastikas, but Rafi can't even say Sabra Hummus is dog shit.
He can say whatever he wants. I'm not criticizing.
So
By the way, you think that my
criticism
criticism is that he doesn't like Sabra Hummus? Are you being serious right now? By the way, is that a beat? Hold on, what are you drinking?
It's a Dr. Pepper cream
Isn't that
soda.
who owns that?
I don't know, but it's not on the BDS
Are you
national
sure?
BDS list.
We'll double check.
Yes, I'm 100% sure.
Okay, we'll double check that. It's not about Sabra Hummus, and like let's not be obtuse.
Ethan, actually, the BDS one is actually pretty funny too, because like you've been, you consistently talk about how like I drink Diet Coke or whatever. When that fan came up to me and said stop drinking Diet Coke.
Who the fuck knows who owns sodas? Like the ethnicities of people that own soda companies. Gives a fuck, dude. People obsess over that shit. The politics of the people that own energy drink companies. I've heard that before. It's like, who gives a fuck, dude? Just drink this shit and shut the fuck up. God, people are so gay.
was not on the Palestinian National Committee's official BDS list.
Yes, it was.
And ever since it has been on that official BDS list,
you're lying.
I have not drank Diet Coke or purchased any Diet Cokes at all.
You're lying. It was on the list.
Wait, what is?
What? Yeah, it was on the list. You're lying.
What was on the list?
Coke.
Yes, it was put on the list, and I stopped purchasing Coke, and I stopped drinking Diet Coke.
You said, you know what's
Coke.
funny? You told her.
Because I think it's like.
You remember what you told her, Hasan?
Significant.
You remember what you told her? You said, "I'll just put it in a cup."
Yeah, no, I was joking with her because I thought that it was a ridiculous request at the time because it wasn't on the Palestinian National Committee's official boycott, divestment, and sanctions list, Ethan.
Okay. It's not about Sabra hummus, just so you know. Like, let's not be silly about this.
Wait, what is it about?
It's about, what's Sabra means a Jew born in Israel. It's an Israeli company. Everybody knows it's like considered like Israeli hummus. It's been on the BDS list. Everybody knows the connotations of Sabra hummus, right? Nobody. Yeah, I don't like Sabra hummus either. We're not talking about hummus. What I don't like is anti-Semitism perpetuated by your friends and swept by you. Now, why is Ben Shapiro in the F tier? That's a cosmic coincidence? Okay, let's move on. Very good.
Ethan,
go ahead. Next question.
I'm not Frogan,
I know
and I don't know
I know.
why.
How can I make value judgments on my friends I've been defending for 2 years?
Also,
who can say?
There is a tier list in front of me, and it seems like a bunch of people, both
Ben
Jewish
Shapiro and me are in the F tier.
On the Loves Sabra tier list.
You're looking at the end. I'm looking at the thumbnail, bro. I'm talking about the thumbnail.
I know, but I first of all, again, I'm making inferences about editorial decisions that other people have made. I'm just simply speculating. Co-host, as your former podcast co-host, do you think that I am anti-Semitic? One, and if I am, if you think I am, do you think I'm as anti-Semitic as Candace Owens?
So yes, I think you're anti-Semitic at this point. I'm comfortable saying that. Are you as anti?
Point.
Well, let me finish.
Let me finish.
You asked
motherfuckers Popeye Maxing.
No.
What you asked think me. I'm doing that's anti-Semitic?
Hold the phone. You asked me 2 questions together. I'm going to answer both. You said, "Do you think I'm anti-Semitic?" After talking to you so far today, I can say unreservedly yes. I think that you are more anti-Semitic than Candace Owens? No. But I think your form of anti-Semitism is way more destructive and sinister. Candace Owens is outright. Hold on there, Hasan. This is an important question.
Do you think I'm anti-Semitic now? Because 2 days ago you said I wasn't.
I'm gonna answer.
Okay.
Your form of anti-Semitism is way more insidious because it's silent, it's tricky. She's out there just saying what she believes, and I respect her for that. Nick Fuentes is just out there. Nobody knows that what's his stance on Israel. Candace Owens' stance on Israel. But you're tricky. What you do is deny the heritage of Middle Eastern Jews, stuff like that.
Wow.
You accuse them of being always the oppressor. What? Always. Everything. And by the way, you spent the first part of this debate calling me insane for what I think most people would perceive as blatant, obvious anti-Semitic acts.
I don't think most people would look at what you're doing right now and
let's
think
not
that
worry
this
about
is
that.
A sign of mental sanity.
Well, we'll have time to pull the audience afterwards. So let's continue.
Okay. All right. Well, look. Going back to the Theo Von situation, and you said I'm anti-Semitic, right? Yesterday you said, or 2 days ago, in the aftermath of the Sam Cedar conversation, you said I'm not anti-Semitic. So what has changed in that process? Is it this conversation that you and I had?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Got it. All right.
Here's the clip, by the way. You accused me of not. You accused me of not mentioning that Theo Von did not ask you about Rick Scott. Let's go back and watch the clip.
Because I didn't say.
Bro, you literally look like the dude from Beetlejuice. That's crazy. The small head guy?
Ethan, I use my words very carefully. I said in the Instagram story that you posted. I don't watch your stream that much. I don't. I only
in the
see
waiting room.
Bro,
that's crazy.
He is dressed like him. What?
You're this guy from Beetlejuice. In this photo, you have like the same coat and shit.
Yeah.
It's
that's you are a comedian.
I sure am, buddy. I see you laughing. All right. Anyway, so you accused me of misrepresenting what happened. Let's play the clip.
Right, $800 billion.
Oh shit.
There's a Medicare and Medicaid that they want to cut. Mike Johnson goes on stage, says, goes on Caitlin Collins on CNN and says, "Oh, there's a lot of fraud happening." There's not fraud happening in Medicare and Medicaid on the point of the recipient.
Right.
It's happening on the point of the providers.
Right.
And that's why I got banned recently on Twitch yesterday. Because
Sorry
Libs,
about that one day.
So you just got back.
Yeah, Libs at TikTok was like posting about how I said something.
Wait, what is this?
And they misconstrued it as though it was a call to action to assassinate a sitting
Wait, why are you
US
showing me
senator.
this?
Well, you're saying I didn't bring this up, but or I'm saying that Theo didn't bring this up. He didn't. You brought it up, framed it in your own way to basically preempt a tough question.
Ethan, I said on the Instagram story that you posted about me, Dan, can you switch it back to Ethan?
Don't switch it back, Dan. I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
I'm switching it back.
Okay.
1 second.
All right, thanks, Dan.
I know, man.
This looks ridiculous on my
sure does,
end.
buddy.
I'm sorry. Okay. So yeah, this was
and it's not just because of the video.
Pull up the post as well, but the post I was referring to was make sure Theo knows how you feel about hosting a terrorist adjacent content creator, and I believe there was another post about it or something. But again,
I said I said he was irresponsible to platform you and not ask you difficult questions.
Yeah. So the question I have for you once again is like he had Candace Owens on. Like, do you feel like that's a little bit more damaging in terms of spreading potentially anti-Semitic narratives? Or do you think that anti-Semitism is when you feel bad personally, and that could be any number of different things that I've done in any given moment?
Yes, I think you were just as bad as her in your own special way, and that's why. And you guys were hitting that same flavor.
Candace Owens,
yes,
on anti-Semitism in my own special way.
Yes.
Okay, got it.
Very good.
Cool.
Very good. So let me ask you a question. Hasan, can I ask you a question?
Can you now officially not talk about like Frogan or anyone else and tell me why I'm anti-Semitic?
Well, we're kind of getting
2
there.
days ago, you
because
said
he's a
wasn't.
Turk.
But also for a year.
You're repeating yourself.
Well, I am, because you haven't answered this question.
I have literally answered it probably 2 times. The reason that I'm saying you're anti-Semitic is because how you responded to my question at the beginning of this interview.
Ethan, for an entire year, you called me a virulent anti-Semite, a rabid anti-Semite.
Never did.
You did. You did.
You
went back and forth.
I have actually went back and checked.
You on it.
I had said that you spread anti-Semitism and stuff, but I never called you an anti-Semitic. I went back and checked.
So
You're
I was
lying.
just simply spreading anti-Semitism.
Yeah, I mean, it's a difference.
Okay, got it. Okay.
Okay, can I ask you a question?
Is about Habibi, not Sabr. You're conceding to the framing? Yeah, we're not conceding to anything. I don't want to even talk about the tier list anymore. Stop it. Okay.
Okay, let me ask my turn. Do you think it's appropriate to accuse? Do you think it's appropriate to accuse any Jewish person you disagree with of working with the ADL?
No.
Here, for example, is someone using it anti-Semitically.
You're saying that Ethan Klein and ADL in unison.
Hasan, let me finish. You're getting ahead of yourself, buddy.
Yes, I do. I do think that that's
you're getting ahead of
valid
yourself,
thing
man.
that's a valid thing to not only speculate, but also I stand on that for sure.
Hasan, I'm getting there. You're getting ahead of yourself, buddy. Here's an example of it being used in an anti-Semitic way. I'm sure you'll agree. Timeline on that doesn't make a lot of sense.
I heard you're in the ADL.
What is this?
This is your fan who ran up on me on Rodeo.
Who the fuck is this guy? My fan?
Yeah.
This.
You remember?
Wait, is this the? Is this the guy?
Oh, yeah, you remember.
Wait. No, this is the guy that you claimed was my fan, right? He was calling me the fucking.
I mean, there's a clip of being like, "Yo, I love this dude." Anyway, who cares if he's your fan or not?
No.
The point is,
Hold on.
No.
You brought this dude
up. It doesn't
up.
matter. I'm showing him as an example of you.
It does matter.
Okay, fine. He's not a fan. I don't care.
You brought him up. Wait, what do you mean you don't care?
If I brought him up, Hasan, if I brought him up, let me finish my point.
He's not a fan of mine.
Why
did you make it seem like that person was a fan of mine then?
Let me get to there, okay? You asked me. It's my turn to ask a question. Just because I brought him up doesn't give you the space to interject.
Is it because he rolled up to me
and
tried to fucking clout farm? Is that why?
Yes. Okay, thank you very much.
I was very clearly disturbed by his presence.
Hasan, I think you know where I'm going, and I think you're scared.
Wow.
Yeah,
Ethan, can you answer the question? Why did you falsely claim that this fucking random dude who does not like
you, that you're his favorite person in the world? What do you mean?
Didn't you use Wait.
All right, Hasan,
Didn't
here you go,
use
buddy.
him approaching
Here
you?
we go. You wanted it, I've got it.
Approaching you.
Can I give you a hug, bro?
I'm so
I
sweaty, bro.
love you.
I'm so sweaty.
I love you, bro.
I love you, bro.
You're like my hero, bro.
You're the GOAT.
You're the coolest guy in the world, bro.
Wow, how crazy.
You look gay in that.
I'm fucking. Is this another hysterical delusion?
Yes, it is, and I'm gonna explain to you exactly why. Because
Wow,
we spent
dude,
a
I
good
love
deal
you.
of
You're the GOAT,
encampment.
bro.
We spent a good deal of our time in the encampment. If you watch the unedited full live stream, we spent a good deal of the entirety of the encampment running away from him because he kept trying to ask me dumbass fucking questions.
Okay, but that's got nothing to do with he's a fan. Listen,
for his own
Hasan,
dumbass
please.
podcast.
You're derailing this, and I need to.
I'm not derailing it.
You
it's
absolutely
not called derailing.
are.
When I'm telling you, I was there, and I'm telling you the situation.
Very good.
You are nefariously making it seem as though this person is a massive
Do
fan
I need
of
to
mine.
play the clip
He was
again?
just trying to cloud chase.
I'll play it again. You know, fuck.
You can play that clip again.
Oh my God.
Here, I'll add subtitles.
Can I give you a hug,
Can you play the clip where he openly admits he doesn't know who I am? And
Imagine being a Hasan Piker,
You're
man.
my hero, bro. I love you.
You're the coolest guy in the world.
You're the coolest guy in the world.
Hold on, I think I look gay in that one.
I think I look gay in that one.
3, 2,
Ethan.
1.
Ethan.
Yes, sir.
Ethan.
Mm-hmm. You okay?
If you think he was a fan of mine, why'd you call him a Sneeko fan when you interviewed him?
Because he's both. I mean, surely there's crossover.
Oh, there's a crossover.
Do I need to play the video again?
Okay,
I'll
well,
do it again.
This is so lame, dude.
My camera off, March. My producer and my camera
I'm gonna
off,
take a
March,
piss.
I'm so
was
sweaty, bro.
there,
I'm so sweaty.
and he's in the chat right now.
You're like you're my hero, bro. I love you, bro. You're the coolest guy in the
Ethan.
world, bro. Hold on, I think I look gay.
Listen, he might not be a fan, but you can't accuse me of being delusional for saying that.
You are delusional.
Okay, very good.
You
I'm
are.
delusional. Let me get to my point, please.
I mean,
so
you-
I'm not even asking you to endorse this guy. I'm just simply showing you.
I don't endorse him.
I know you
and
don't.
he's not a fan of mine. So why did you claim that he was a fan of mine? Because he
I'll
fucking
play it again.
clout chased.
I mean, I feel like we're running
You
in
was
circles, but
clout
I'll play the
chasing at
clip
a fucking
again.
Palestinian encampment? That's why? That's all it takes for you?
No, it was when he said, "You're the GOAT. You're my hero. I love you."
He didn't know who I was. He was just saying that so he could fucking ask for
He
an
literally
interview for his
recognized
podcast,
you.
for his PUA podcast.
Okay, who cares? I don't care. So let me
Wait,
move
now
on.
you don't
Do you
care.
want to talk about this
It
for
seems
2
like-
hours, or do you want to actually have a
It seems like
conversation?
this is a wait. Well, hold on. You can't just say you don't care all of a sudden when you look like a fucking asshole for falsely claiming that some random
I'll play
person
it
who
again.
stalked you is a fan of mine. You
and I
said
heard
he
you
was
about
a fan of mine in. I believe in,
Okay,
your,
I
in one
lied,
of your videos.
I lied
you
about
said he
him
was
being a
a fan of mine,
fan.
and I was sending harassment
I
your
concede.
way.
Yes, very
Don't
good.
you think that's a big point of contention? Don't you feel like this is a big point of contention?
I concede. I want to show you an example of.
Do you see my side of this though?
I think
Because like
no,
a
you're being dishonest.
a random Sneeko fan comes up to me.
A random Hasan
wants the
fan
clout
comes up
chase,
to you.
and you, wants the cloud chase, and you turn around and you say that he is a fan of mine to prove.
This is gay and boring.
I'm sending people to harass you.
That's
Do you
not what I
feel like
implied.
that's appropriate?
That's a total lie. I have never accused you of anything of the sort. That is an
So
outright horrific.
You did not imply that this.
Do you think it's
All right, your
appropriate to accuse? Do you think it's appropriate to accuse any Jewish person you disagree with of working with the ADL?
No.
Here,
I don't,
for
I don't
example,
think
is
it's
someone
appropriate.
using
But
it
if you're talking about
anti-Semitically.
me saying that Ethan Klein and ADL in unison.
Hassan, let me finish.
got
You're
people
getting ahead of yourself,
deplatformed, then
buddy.
Yes, I do. I do think that that's
You're
a,
getting
that's
ahead
a
of
valid
yourself,
thing
man.
to. That's a valid thing to not only speculate, but also
Hold
I stand
the
on that
phone.
for sure.
Hassan, I'm getting there. You're getting ahead of yourself, buddy. Here's an example of it being used in an anti-Semitic way. I'm sure you'll agree. Timeline on that doesn't make a lot of sense.
I heard you're in
Who
the
is this?
ADL,
What
bro.
is this?
This is your fan who ran.
Oh, all right. We just watch this. Okay. Let's do Destiny.
You want to tell me what is your evidence that I work with or talk to or have any association with at all with Destiny?
What? Destiny? What?
What?
Gah?
That I
I
talk
had
about
to-
fucking obsessively 100 times a day. That is like basically like the Antichrist, the Lord Voldemort in my community. Yeah, you accuse me of working with him, knowing him, talking to him. What is your evidence?
What happened to Destiny? I haven't been following Destiny lore in a long time. Did he go to trial? Like, what happened? Jumping on the H3 stuff. Like, what happened? I used to cover Destiny a lot on the channel, but I haven't followed him in a long time. Yeah, the iDubbbz. Debating with Osmongold. MAGA stuff. Yeah, there's nothing, dude. Irrelevant.
Oh, thank you for asking.
Oh, you're very
Not
welcome.
only is there video footage of you corresponding with someone in your Discord that literally aligns perfectly with Destiny's own Discord, offering clips for you to pull.
That sounds like a stretch.
You've also used clips that are unlisted called Hamasabi
Yeah.
when making arguments about my virulent anti-Semitism.
Who gives a fuck?
From
I pulled a clip
link that came from a Destiny fan account.
So that's your
But
proof that I
also-
work with
but
Destiny.
None of that is relevant.
Okay.
What's relevant is your constant coordination with Destiny's podcast co-host Dan Saltman, who you featured on your context nuke. So yeah,
Did I feature
I
him
don't
in
think
my
it's that
context?
ridiculous of
My
a fucking assertion to make, especially when
don't remember what it was.
considering the fact that you have been corresponding with Dan Saltman, and you did, and he is Destiny's podcast co-host, and the what does he call himself? The general of the Hezbollah, I think that's what they call themselves, the Taliban and the Hezbollah, their mass
How the
harassment
fuck would I
operation
know?
that they engage in. So yeah, I think that is not a ridiculous fucking claim to make at all.
It's actually insane, and it's a really convenient way of discrediting me when I've never spoken to,
No, I think you're
worked
doing
with,
enough
talked
to
about
discredit
Destiny
yourself
in my
all on your own.
life.
I don't need to bring
it's
that
a
up.
really nice way of you. You know what? I think you're hallucinating, buddy. I think you are Oh, you pulled a meme from his subreddit once. And
No,
there was a
that's
guy
not
in your
This is so
comment
gay.
that's also
This
in
is the
Discord.
gayest. This is the gayest debate of the 21st century.
I think you're
No, I
hallucinating.
didn't say any of those things.
You sound
I-
fucking unhinged, dude. Are you crashing out, Hasan?
Ethan, I didn't.
Hasan,
say
are you
that.
crashing out?
I gave you.
Do you
I
have
gave
friends
you
who are
a
aware
reason.
of the condition and can help you get the help you need?
Okay, Ethan.
You're delusional.
You featured Destiny's podcast.
I said he
co-host
discovered
that
the
you
IP ban. Is
correspond
that not
with.
true? I said Dan Saltman discovered the IP ban. That's all I said. I didn't endorse.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't. All I said is he discovered the IP ban. Is that true? Is that materially true?
I don't think
It
so.
is. It is.
I think someone in Destiny's community did, but it's fine. Yeah.
So
you brought
how is that
up.
an endorsement?
Ethan?
What,
Are you
Ethan?
claiming that
is this
you
what
don't
you
have
do
direct
whenever you're trying to
correspondence with
avoid
Dan Saltman?
Ethan? Hasan, are you hallucinating?
Ethan,
Hasan?
do you not correspond with Destiny's podcast co-host Dan Saltman?
I've talked to Dan Saltman, but also I don't think that that's Destiny.
Boring.
Out of context?
Absolutely
Wasn't a
not.
quick compilation of a. It's fine. It's not that big of a
What are
deal.
you implying
All
here? What are you implying with this photo?
Not a. What photo? Oh, with the photo.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Isn't anybody else bored by this? Let's be honest.
let's begin. This is going to finally cause us to talk about Israel-Palestine.
Bro, just explain what you're
By
trying to
your own
say.
admission, there is a genocide that is taking
I think
place.
it's terrible that Hasan goes by Hasanabi. It's like, oh, he's a cute little small bean, Hasanabi. How fucking sick. Guys that go by cute names are fucking disgusting and should be fucking put down.
in the Gaza Strip. By your own admission, there is also an apartheid structure both in the West Bank, but I don't think you believe that there's an apartheid happening within Israel proper by your own terms.
I don't think
Do
it's.
you
I don't.
feel-
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So do you feel as though Israel is somehow inseparable from both of these actions?
No, but obviously the conditions are different in Israel proper versus the West Bank
Mhm.
versus Gaza.
Do
Like
you
West,
feel
I
like
mean, the
you
West
going
Bank
to
has
Israel
checkpoints. It has
amidst
like different areas of zones of interest. People don't have freedom of movement, so obviously that's more apartheid-like than the main body of Israel.
Yeah. Don't you feel like you going to Israel proper would actually resemble someone going to, someone going near Auschwitz and being like, well, it's actually beautiful there. It's not that big of a deal.
No.
It's multicultural. Oh, you don't see the comparison.
Well, I mean, where Israel? You mean in Tel Aviv? So you're saying that
Jonathan Glazer, who made this video, Jonathan Glazer, who made this Oscar-winning movie, does see the comparison.
So hold on, your criticism.
He said as much.
You're saying
his Oscar award,
all I said was my lived
speech.
experience in Israel proper. Is the problem that Israel proper? That sounds racist or something?
No, I think you're trying to present Israel as a beautiful multicultural land when it is directly doing a genocide across the border boundary, okay?
Yeah.
And also
I
is
make
an
a distinction.
apartheid on a good day.
Yeah, I make a distinction for sure.
You can't.
I mean, I lived there for 5 years in Tel Aviv.
From the crimes that is happening 6 miles away, Ethan. That's my point.
That's a fat dog.
From where I live in Tel Aviv?
Oh man.
6 miles from what?
I don't know how many.
Oh man. Ethan's a mug root beer guy. Oh dear. This is a Barks household. If I see a mug root beer, I'm slapping the fucking shit out of you. The fuck out of here. Drink real root beer. Mug? Come on, dude.
How many miles away it is from
chat? Which root beer is your favorite? If you say mug, I'm slapping the shit out of you.
It's a lot further than 6 miles. What the fuck are you talking about?
I don't know how many miles away it is. That's not the point. It's
No,
close enough that you can see it. If you go to Sidorot, you can.
Dude, I'm more fascinated with the type of root beer Ethan's drinking more than what they're fucking talk about with Israel and stuff. This is so boring and gay. There's this chick I knew that was like really like into this stuff and would tell me about it. This chick that was into me, I was like, really? Ugh. Like this.
Point you're making is that everybody living in Israel is living next to a concentration camp.
Yes.
So I said, bro really said my lived experience in Israel proper, and you're saying that I am a Nazi officer living casually and enjoying life, as people are.
No, you're not directly a Nazi officer.
Well, that's what this says.
No, Ethan, you're taking it a little bit too literally. I think the point
looks like a screenshot from Parasite.
Why did you choose the one with the guy standing in it?
Well, I'm actually interpreting the work of art in the exact same way that Jonathan Glazer, who made this.
Oh, that's why it looks like that.
It. The entire point is, you can have a wonderful life as an American Jew in Israel. Of course you can have a wonderful
That movie sucks, by the way. I watched it on an airplane. That movie sucks fucking ass, dude. It's just fucking gay, boring, artsy-fartsy garbage, and fucking, it's just, oh, it's about Nazis. These Nazis are just walking around in their garden, and they're eating dinner. They just have a regular life. How can they have a regular life when they're doing all this evil stuff? It's just like it's a movie that insists upon itself. It insists upon itself. It's a piece of garbage. That movie, the Zone of Interest. How about more like the Zone of Boring? Am I right? It's a movie that fucking liberals on fucking Letterboxd, that these 19-year-old liberals on Letterboxd that mysteriously have 10,000 followers think is deep. It's a fucking shitty movie.
That's the point, because Israel is a ethno-religious supremacist apartheid state that is currently doing a genocide. It is the entire underlying principle of why this nation state was founded. That's what it was founded on. It was founded on exterminationist principles of the indigenous Palestinians, which you seemingly agree to. So yes, if you actually think Israel is doing a genocide, then it comes across as rather odd that you would go to Israel to show how multifaceted and how wonderful Israel is.
I mean, yeah,
it would be exactly like someone saying, "Oh, you don't understand. I'm German. I am going to Poland. I'm going to I'm going to go to Warsaw. I'm going to go to Auschwitz.
It's
and
not
I'm
the
gonna
same
show
at
you
all, dude.
How wonderful
It's so
Auschwitz looks like because it's German territory.
Okay, I lived in Tel Aviv. I worked beside Palestinians. I worked with them. I took the bus with them. I walked around the streets with them. I went to the restaurants. They worked with me in my businesses. It's not what people expect. That's my point. You don't see.
Yeah, that would be lying. That would be lying to your audience about the actual totality of Israel. You want to talk about my totality of anti-Semitism inferred off of like hyper specific narrow definitions that you have invented in your mind? Talk about the totality of a country that you recognize is doing genocide. You think it's appropriate? You think it's appropriate to go to Israel while there is a fucking genocide going on?
I mean,
by your own
you did a show with me and you consider me your friend, and you knew that I was apparently a Nazi officer that whole time.
What?
I said you were considering me a friend. You did a show with me. You knew I lived in Israel that whole time. I'm surprised you were willing to work with a Nazi officer.
I also have interviewed members of the Knesset, as a matter of fact, like Ofer Kasif. I have interviewed Israelis from the anti-Zionist youth movement Mezarvot. Israeli members, Israeli Jewish citizens that have refused service, refuseniks. I don't have an issue with people that have lived in Israel. Some of the reason why I know the total and utter depravity of the inception of Israel comes from Exeter University's very own Ilan Pappé. His writings are what guide me. Of course, I don't have an issue with people that have lived in Israel and no longer live in Israel, or even still live in Israel, as a matter of fact. As long as they are anti-Zionist. Because I care about Zionism as an ideology. I do not care about Jewish people or Israeli people. These are not a part of my consideration, because I believe in the best of people.
Most of them about me?
No, not all of them are about you.
Actually, this segues perfectly. You claim I'm obsessed with you. That's part of the narrative, right?
They're both obsessed with each other.
I think at this point, a lot of people see it, right?
Very good. Well, let's see. Ugh, God damn it. Well, I got to refresh this. So here's an example from one of these clip channels. These are all different clips, right? Over a 2-month period, there's edited down 24 hours of you talking about me.
Wow.
24 hours. That's over the.
These are most likely.
Hold on.
These are fan channels.
Let me. Over 60-day period. That's 24 minutes per day.
Ethan, these are fan channels. This is disingenuous. You are presenting the same. You're presenting.
Okay, first of all, I'm just showing how much you talk about me on stream. Second of all, that the fan channel defense is a. Let me finish. The fan channel thing is a clever part of your disinformation campaign to avoid any responsibility. And the fact is, if I wanted to show all your fan channels, this is how many fucking videos was uploaded about me in the last 22 days. You think that's regular? You think that's regular?
Ethan, I have no control over my fan channels. What do you mean? You're literally showing the same. I say one thing on
66
on my Twitch
videos
stream.
about me.
I say one thing on my Twitch stream. Fan channels make the video of the same thing over and over again.
It's all part, so you don't ever have to accept responsibility.
A lot more than it actually is, but it's actually the same fucking video.
Yeah. No. Well, so yeah, this is the total. No.
Doesn't anybody else think this is like really fucking boring? Anybody else?
No. This has the same moments. The last one does not.
Moment multiplied.
No,
this
one does not have this.
Photo.
No, this one does not have the same moments. This one is unique. Times you talked about me on your stream. Well, why are you deny that you talked about me for 24 hours of unedited content the past 2 months, 24 minutes per day, 7 days a week?
For the past 2 months.
Yes, 24 minutes a day.
I don't deny that. Probably.
Okay, so because
I think you are up until this very moment, you have presented yourself as someone who is actually playing a formative role in deplatforming pro-Palestinian content creators. That was the reason why I'm having this conversation with.
It's very long.
Wait,
that's
so,
one
so
example. That's one small.
Was out of context.
What else is out of context? Go on.
Okay, great. All right. Let me give you the master list, okay? If you want to watch the context of it, we can also go through these videos as well, or you can just take my word for it. Up to you. What do you want to do? You want to go through the videos one by one, or do you want to...
Give me examples that was out of context.
Okay. One of the other things that you've consistently done, aside from also the dude that you claimed was my fan, who now you admit wasn't my fan, that you falsely said was my fan.
Jiminy fucking cricket.
Okay, was the usage of the term inbred. I use inbred as a wait, what?
Because I have that. Because I knew you were gonna do this, and I have the clip pulled. Let's play it, and then you can
play it. The Jewish KKK brigades out there, just a bunch of fucking inbred hicks. Imagine the most inbred white supremacist guy you can imagine. Okay, every week there was another fucking psychopathic settler.
Isn't inbred and redneck a racist term for the Scott Irish? It really is. I was gonna say it really is when you think about it, but it actually is. And it is kind of funny, like people throw that around a lot, like inbred, redneck, because and people don't think of it as racist because it's an insult to white people, but really it's a racist term to the Scott Irish in the South, and Appalachian people and things like that. So, yeah, I don't know. Aren't they people too?
Fucking douchebag. Oh, these inbred fucking douchebags in the background, dude. A nation entirely comprised of messianic, inbred, ultra-orthodox psychopaths. That these inbred don't understand. Educated, inbred.
But Jews are like the most inbred race of all time. I'm not even saying that as like a racist thing. They're just like their genetic is extremely inbred. Because, well, and it makes sense if you know their history, how they always stayed isolated and things like that, I don't know though. Actually, I think the Icelanders are the most inbred people on planet Earth.
Mentalist hicks
calling us in the middle of campus, calling us inbred, that we have no.
I saw a funny video of this guy talking to this Icelandic guy, and the interviewer brought up Björk, and the Icelandic guy is like, "That's my cousin," and he's like, "Really?" And then he said, "Well, everybody in Iceland is her cousin," meaning they're all related.
Culture. One of them grabbed my friend's Israeli flag in the middle of campus, carried it to a mob by the gate that were communicating with the angry mobs outside of campus.
Inbred asses shipped into.
Who forced me to react to this? Why did you guys force me to react to this?
Lebanon, telling us that we are all inbred and that we have no culture.
You want to?
You gotta watch these clips too.
Inbred.
The clips it, and that's not necessarily the algorithm.
Okay, so yeah, go ahead and defend your continual use of the word inbred to describe Jewish people. Go on.
Wait, do you think I'm describing all Jewish people as inbred? Is that what your assessment is here?
Microaggressions, my friend. We're pretending they don't exist. You
up, dude.
You continually refer to Jewish people as inbred.
Well, I just called them that.
Oh my God. Yeah, dude.
I mean,
of course I'm calling the fucking Kahanist Jewish supremacist settlers inbred. Why is it that you tried to defend the actual Kahanist settlers that were destroying humanitarian aid? When I was calling them fucking inbred, you were like, oh, why? They're just nice young Jewish boys, you said, when describing that fucking video.
Did you? So again, Hasan, you have a chronic problem with the truth. Here's what you're talking about.
Douchebags in the background,
these are just dudes. By the way, this is the difference between me and Hasan. When I get criticized, I pull it up and I watch the fucking criticism. Hasan opens Comrade KC tweets and snark posts and reads their interpretation of my video. Talk about being
I feel like Ethan's hand is gonna fall off one of these days from doing this too much.
Fucking be real here.
Yeah, I'm so scared of you. That's why I wanted to debate you.
And this is an ongoing joke with this community. These are just fucking benign. You said that the Houthi Luffy was not a pirate.
He's not.
Or I'm sorry, not Houthi affiliated.
He's not. But even if he was, I wouldn't care. I hope you understand that.
Because that's rewriting history.
I'm gonna say this
no,
very
no,
clearly
it's not that
to
you cared. It's that
I'm gonna
you
say this
fucking
very
glazed
clearly
him
to
up.
you right now. 10 toes down. Are you ready for this?
Go ahead.
I believe what the Houthis are doing in terms of stopping Israel doing a genocide to implement a blockade on the Red Sea is a good thing. 10 toes fucking down. They are on the morally right side. Don't you also think they're on the morally right side?
What have they done?
You're supposed to.
Hold on.
You're saying that it's a genocide.
What have they done?
What the fuck are they supposed to do?
They hijacked a boat that had nothing to do with Israel? Like, fucking
That's
bravo.
not true.
I don't even know what they're talking about. I don't really care.
Hold on, you
So
accuse me of being racist. Are you talking about this guy?
Terrorist organization,
Are you talking about this guy?
Your wife is a part of the IDF. Do you think it's appropriate to call your wife a terrorist?
I think you do. No, I don't.
You don't think it's appropriate?
No.
Okay. You have stated time and time again that you believe, to show how pro-Palestine you are, that you believe settlers are valid military targets.
Right.
Who do you think is protecting the settlers who you claim
The
are
IDF
valid
is
military
protecting them, and
targets?
it's fucking insane.
In the process,
yeah, it's horrible.
in the process
was
of
my
their
wife out there
pogroms that they're
protecting?
doing.
Sorry, was Ela out there protecting settlers?
All right. Since they're on this topic, I'm going to have to pull up a video for you guys for context reasons. I don't think they're going to play this video, but you guys have to see this. I was shocked. Now, this video isn't actual footage, but it's a reenactment of what these Palestinians saw, and it is, I think it's really horrible, and viewer discretion is advised. Dude. Okay. I can't. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry I showed that. You know. It just, you know, it kind of gets me emotional because, you know, just fucked up, dude. That happened, but I had to show that for context reasons. Yeah, it's very heavy stuff, but let's continue the video.
No, she was doing a night raid, as a matter of fact, and I didn't know any of this until recently. For the record,
That was the video I showed you. It's a reenactment or a artistic interpretation of the night raid.
Months ago.
Yeah, you're gonna do the Raider of Ramallah snark bullshit. Go on. Yeah, your community doesn't harass anyone. She was 18 years old. She went on a ride along to Ramallah for some kind of fucking mission. She stayed in the car, and then they went back, and that's all that happened. She's 18 years old, bro. She's a secretary.
A sexy 18-year-old. But yeah, that's not what we saw, dude. I'm sorry, Ethan. I know that you love your wife, but that's not what we saw.
By the way, that person was a Palestinian living in his own fucking home, and your wife went on a raid to Ramallah, which you have called a terror city.
Yeah, that was an old clip. I don't think Ramallah's a terror city.
Is your wife a valid military target in that process? Because you've said that settlers are valid military targets. Do you think your wife is a valid military target? Do you think your wife is a terrorist,
She's not a West Bank settler. She's not a West Bank settler.
But she's in the West Bank. Where's Ramallah, Ethan?
Bad Empanada thinks she's valid. Your friends over at Second Thought think she's a valid target.
Do you think she's a valid military target?
Do you think she's a valid military target?
Do
you think she's a valid military target?
I do not, as a matter of fact.
How great.
I don't. Okay.
Right. Can we please move on to this the Nakba thing?
No, listen to me.
Hasan, bro, you're making this unwatchable.
Listen to me.
This whole video is unwatchable. Imagine I skipped through this. I mean, I think I've watched enough. Imagine sitting through 5 hours of this. Dude, like, watch something more worth your time. Watch Love Exposure. Watch the Godfather movies. Watch Lord of the Rings. Don't watch this, okay? This will rot your brain.
Gotta move on.
How does this make sense in your mind? You say Israel is doing genocide. She has participated in the kidnapping of a Palestinian in the West Bank.
You don't know who was kidnapped and for what reason.
We don't say you hate the settlers.
Well, we don't know who was.
First of all, the settlers, Ethan. Your wife did.
Kidnapped. They arrested somebody. We don't know what happened or what they did. What if he fucking stabbed civilians? Doesn't that happen?
The process in which how people are arrested in the West Bank, Ethan?
Do Palestinian terrorists never stab and blow up civilians?
They're placed under military detention. They are not actually placed. They do not go.
Also, whatever happened to Gila? Like, I don't watch that. That pause. Popeye over here. Fucking Popeye Maxon. I don't watch the show because I'm not a fucking loser, but I never see Gila ever on the show. Is she ever on here? What happened to her?
Terrorists ever commit violence on civilians that would warrant them being arrested?
They are not in the West Bank.
You don't know anything about this person or this raid.
In Ramallah, in Palestinian territory, your wife was an illegal occupier of a terrorist organization, also known as the Israeli Occupying Force, Ethan. Now, I know people that have also served in the Israeli Occupying Force, as a matter of fact. I've relied on breaking the silence.
By the way, her name is Gila. I don't know if you keep doing your wife. Why do you do that? Why do you keep referring to her as my wife? It's bizarre.
Okay, Gila, whatever, who cares?
It just belies some really bizarre
random shit.
It's not random at all. It says a lot.
Listen to my words. Listen to my words.
So
I have no issue with someone as long as they have recognized their mistakes, as long as they recognize that that was wrong. What I take issue with is consistently defending Israel. You have also participated in the defense of Israel. It makes no sense. You're inconsistent. You say it's a genocide, but people can't resist militarily. You say it's a genocide, but all of the people who are outspoken are vile anti-Semites.
Hila was doing
mandatory. Supposed to be able to resist against this genocide?
Hold the phone.
Do you actually think it's a genocide?
Hila was doing mandatory military service. What should she have done?
There's numerous options. One, religious exemption. Two, refusing to serve. But even then, I don't have a problem with her being socially conditioned into thinking that this is appropriate. I have a problem with what she's saying now. I have a problem with how she reflects on that and doesn't realize that that was an unjustifiable thing to do.
Okay, well, listen, you can talk to her, debate about it. I don't know what you're even referring to. Okay?
What?
I don't even know what the fuck you're referring to. You're just calling my wife a terrorist. Like, give me a break, dude.
No.
She did mandatory.
She has talked
Let me
on
ask
your
you a
podcast.
question. Hassan,
she's talked
please,
on your podcast
you gotta let me
about
talk.
How she went on a raid.
You have to let me talk. The fact that you're just talking over me and being louder does not mean you're right. I promise.
What?
Being louder and talking more does not mean you're right. Okay? It's good to listen to what I have to say. She's part of mandatory conscription.
Did Gila not volunteer? Did Gila not volunteer to go to the West Bank on a raid because she was bored? In Ramallah.
Yeah, she's 18. It's understandable. We don't know what they
all 18-year-old girls. All 18-year-old girls on a boring Saturday night with their friends go on in raids to fucking gun down Palestinian children. That's just what bored 18-year-old girls do on a Saturday night. Oh man.
What the raid?
He could have been a
what if he killed people?
Yeah.
What if he killed people? Of course. If he killed people, of course he would be worthy of being arrested.
Ethan, is Ramallah a part of Israeli territory?
I mean, it's complicated, right? It's under occupation. No, I don't think so, but it's under occupation, right?
Okay, so why was your wife in Ramallah?
Maybe getting a terrorist that killed civilians. She sat in a car.
It's not complicated,
She sat in a car and didn't even leave it and never did it again.
Your wife participated in an illegal raid according to international human rights. That is the reality. Now,
are you upset if this person killed like a child? Would you be upset if this person they arrested like stabbed people? Like you don't know what you're talking about.
If she were to talk about,
okay, fine. My wife's a terrorist, bro. What the fuck?
Listen to my words.
No.
Wow, that's a quote. My wife is a terrorist, bro. Ethan Klein, 2025. Oh man, people are probably already clipping that to death.
As many former IDF vets have on breaking the silence. If she talked about the night raid that she participated in the same way that
all 18-year-old, all bored 18-year-old girls go on night raids. That's what Ethan thinks.
Logan says, I don't hate only the ones that regret it.
Talk about, I would have no issue with her.
Do you hope she gets PTSD
know why? Because
too?
I understand people can change.
I don't condone the raid, but I mean, see, neither of us have any information about like what actually happened.
A lot of guys, their girlfriends or wives past is sleeping with a bunch of guys, and you know. But in Ethan's case, his wife's past is raiding Palestinians' homes, you know. Quite interesting.
There is no, you don't understand. If she is illegally there,
okay,
she is not supposed to be there. It does not matter. Her and her entire brigade was not supposed to be there.
I don't think she knew what they were doing.
As a matter of fact,
I don't think she knew what they were doing or where they were going.
What she participated in
I don't think she knew where they were going or what they were doing.
What she participated in
okay,
is
she's
called
a terrorist,
night
bro.
raid.
Please, we got to move on. This is
the
like
reason why the Israeli occupying force, the reason why the Israeli occupying force participates in these night raids in the West Bank,
you're making this unwatchable.
Is to create a constant feeling of terror.
Not talking more does not make you right. Okay. You gotta understand
the reason why the Israeli occupying force participates in night raids is to create a constant sense of terror.
We don't condone it. She was 19. She was doing military conscription. She didn't know where they were going or what they were doing. Okay. Thank you. I'm listening, but you just keep repeating yourself. This is what you do.
The reason why
you gotta move on.
I want to have the reason why I know that. Do you want to know why I know that?
Do you want this to be unwatchable? Is that what you want?
What?
Do you want this to be unwatchable?
The reason why I know that, Ethan,
I'm take that as a yes.
Breaking the silence veterans who have come out and spoken out against this practice. That's why I know that.
Hasan, you say that Hila could have gone to jail and done a conscientious objection instead of joining the army. Why do you pay taxes?
What?
Why do you pay taxes to the United States government?
This is your big argument, Ethan?
Answer the question.
That I pay taxes and I'm morally culpable? I know. That's why I try to fucking
fight
against this goddamn government doing this shit every day.
Hold on. Why don't you stand up for your principles and go to jail for it?
Because it would not actually stop, okay? It would not actually stop. The reason why I'm saying...
What wouldn't stop?
I don't take issue with Hila's fucking actions then, as long as, just like you said, she was just 19 years old. I take issue with the fact that she still defends it on principle.
What did she
says
say?
The Israeli occupying force is not a terror organization. You have a disagreement with him.
Well, I think I can see it from her perspective too, which is like, you know, the problem with you is that everything's black and white.
You can't see it from Rashid al-Haddad's perspective.
Yeah,
and
he's a fucking terrorist who says he wants to kill Jews. That you said like Anne Frank.
That's why you can fucking constantly claim that he is a terrorist.
Oh my God, bro! Please, I want this to be watchable. Okay, let's move on, please. Thank you.
Okay.
You made your point. You made your point. Okay. So specifically, you said this, which is you said in the context puke. You said this was the worst thing I did. So let me play it, okay, and then we can discuss.
More Jews displaced than Palestinians.
Let me go back
to 1948 countries
just to give the whole context.
Expelled them in massive amounts following the 1948 war. In fact, there was more Jews displaced than Palestinians.
This was one of the worst pieces of misinformation I've seen in the fucking context puke. For the record, it was crazy.
This specific. So Mike, again, nicely done. Let this guy hold your hand and formulate your opinions, but he's not here to help you. Okay. So you tell me what was wrong with what was misinformation about saying that 900,000 Jews were displaced?
You make a comparison between Planned Dalit, which is a planned ethnic cleansing campaign, to one, horrify Palestinians inside of villages that had actually no arms whatsoever because they had specific peace agreements that they've done with Jewish villages.
What was the exaggeration?
By killing them and
No, this isn't a comparison
by massacring them.
What was the...
Yeah, it is ridiculous how. Yeah, like Ethan has like, you know, he has points, right? But the whole like the defending the night raids and shit is laughable.
And fucking hell,
and then
bro, you are
letting
incapable
survivors
of answering
tell the
anything.
tale. You asked me a question and I can't even fucking
you're not
answer it. What are we
answering
doing?
it. You're not. You're just going on and on.
I am answering it.
What
Ethan.
was the exaggeration?
I just can't get over Ethan saying, "Oh yeah, bored 18-year-old girls, yeah, they like going on night raids." That is so fucking wild, dude. That is so wild. That is so fucking funny.
Historical fact of
lesson. Okay, you're gonna learn a little bit right now. Okay, Deir Yassin is Tantura. These are two very famous massacres that took place. the brigades, the militant brigades, the Zionist brigades that then formed the IDF, including some that personally called themselves terrorists, by the way, Lihi and Irgun, went in and did horrifying mass rape, kidnappings, throwing people in ovens. And then the survivors left to tell the tale. In that process, these brigades would go to each individual city and forcibly ethnically cleanse 750,000 Palestinians. This is known as
what
the
the
Nakba.
fuck does that have to do with the Jewish refugees? Answer that question. I know what the Nakba is. I don't deny it.
Do you think that is even remotely comparable to Jewish people
How is it not?
leaving sometimes voluntarily
Wow.
and sometimes because their governments had made
How
deals
many
with
left voluntarily?
either Israel or France.
How many of the 900,000 left voluntarily?
I don't know the exact number of how many left voluntarily.
Take a guess.
Do you?
Take a guess.
All right. Let's skip through this.
To leave. You want to explain that?
Yes. Jews wanted to go to Israel, Ethan. They liked
okay,
the
great.
idea
So let
of
me hear
going
what
to Israel.
okay, so
Israel. You like Israel.
Yeah, you're
What
a
do you
liar.
mean?
You're a disgusting fucking propagandist liar. Here's what Avi Schleim actually
My
said.
research, I established
Scumbag.
that one bomb was lobbed, one hand grenade was lobbed by a young...
Hey, Ash, he has the same name as me.
In the East.
Also, I think a lot of people think I am Jewish because of my name, but I'm named after Ash from Evil Dead.
Cloud Party, which wanted to expel the Jews from Iraq and confiscate the properties. And another bomb was, another hand grenade was lobbed into the Masoud Hashem Tov synagogue, and there 4 people were killed. And he was a criminal who had a grudge against the Jews, and it had nothing to do with the Mossad.
Did you hear that? The first 2 had nothing to do with the Mossad. But let's continue to listen to the respected scholar Avi Schleim, you fucking liar.
Hold on.
Nope, you listen to this fucking historian. Yes, you said they left by choice. They left because of Zionism. They left because they were being threatened. Let's hear what your respected historian has to say, you liar.
That's right.
Wait,
even
listen.
if all this is true, the main reason for the exodus was not the bombs, it was persecution by the government. And I concede that. It's not part of my argument that the bombs were the main reason for the liquidation of this community. But my answer to my Zionist critics is, even if I knew for certain that not a single Iraqi Jew left Iraq to go to Israel because of the bombs, I would still think this is a real indictment of the state of Israel, because Israel was created to provide a safe haven for Jews, not to be harassing and threatening Jews in other countries.
Well, it happens.
He said, and I'll quote it for you, "We did not leave Iraq because we were Zionists. We left because we were no longer safe." He wrote that in his book, 3 Worlds. Have you read that book?
No, I have not read 3 Worlds.
Okay, well, you're using a lot of source from it. It's a book that he wrote about his migration.
It's not the only book he wrote about.
Okay, of course, anti-Semitism exists, but why is it that every time... How do I word this without sounding like an anti-Semite? Why is it that every explanation for leaving a country or an area is that, oh, we were mistreated. But it's never that they're mistreating others or for a different reason. Even though that obviously not all Jews, but there's some Jews in certain areas of the world that, you know, mistreat other people. I mean, we'll see with the Israel-Palestine conflict. So, it's just funny, like, every time. It's never, like, their fault, you know? It's always other people. And it's like, even if you look at other groups of people in the world, like, throughout history, there's always other groups that even admit that things are their fault. I mean, look at America. Americans are always all like, you know, Americans are like, we fucked up with slavery. That is fucked up that we did that, you know. Or like the Jim Crow laws, you know, like, that's fucked up that we did that to black people. That's fucked up, you know. But when it comes to Israel and stuff, like, they never admit to fucking up, ever.
But go on.
Have you read any of the other ones?
Yes.
Really? Which ones?
The book that I'm referencing is from the Iron Wall.
3 Worlds, okay? He writes about his time in Iraq. He writes about his time in Israel. He writes about his time in the UK. In 3 Worlds, he writes about his own family, and he describes their departure from Iraq as traumatic, disorienting, and not voluntary. They were not proud Zionist migrations. They were leaving out of fear.
Ethan.
He said that himself.
Ethan.
He said, we did not leave Iraq because we were Zionists. We left because we were no longer safe.
My friend, you are failing to comprehend a very important reason why I brought up Avi Shlaim, by the way. And
yeah, because you think he supports your claim, but he absolutely does not. That's why, because you're a fucking liar.
He absolutely
contend
does.
with what I said.
Hold on.
No. Contend with what I'm saying. He said we did not leave Iraq because we were Zionists. We left because we were no longer safe. Do you want to explain what he meant by that? Explain what he meant by saying we didn't leave because we were Zionists. We left because we were no longer safe.
Okay.
Explain to me.
I can't wait to bring up Avi Shlaim on the broadcast to make you fucking look like a dumbass.
I can't wait to. Now explain what he means by that. We did not leave Iraq because we were Zionists. We left because we were no longer safe.
Iraqis are not Palestinian. You fucking moron. You racist piece of shit.
What?
Because Iraq and the pan-Arabic nationalist movements that arise out of
out of your mind.
Is not about Palestinians.
Okay, so what did the Jews in Iraq have to do with fucking Israel? You bigot. You are so out of your mind.
And then Iraqis,
dude, you screaming and grandstanding doesn't mean you're right.
Iraqi government's racist pan-Arabic nationalist movements as a vindication for why, or a comparison as to why Israel had to do the Nakba.
Do you think
you fucking racist piece of shit?
Thanks, Hasan.
Do you think Iraq? Do you think all Arabs have one fucking mind?
Why
Is that what you think?
Were the Iraqi Jews leaving Iraq in fear?
Of course there were Iraqi Jews that left Iraq in fear. I've never said that there were no Iraqi Jews that left Iraq in fear.
You want to call me racist? Why were Iraqi Jews leaving to go to Israel?
Because you're a fucking moron.
That's why they left. They left because I'm a fucking moron.
You
coward. You coward. Answer the question. You're going to call me racist, but you won't answer. Why did the Iraqi Jews leave Iraq?
There were numerous
because of anti-Semitism. They hated Jewish people that had nothing to do with Israel. They were forced to leave. They were chased out.
Jewish people, yes, everyone.
That was awesome.
To go to Israel because it's the only fucking place they could. Why would Iraqis hate the Jews living there if they had nothing to do with Zionists or Israel? Why?
Because settlers.
I love that. Shut the fuck up. That is pretty funny. I can't have to admit.
That has nothing to do with them. You absolutely
shut the fuck up.
What does that have to do with the Iraqi Jews?
Do you think the Aliyahs were happening initially?
So it was there. So you're blaming them? Are you blaming the Iraqi Jews who had nothing to do with it? What the fuck is your point? You call me racist.
I'm not justifying the racism. I'm not justifying it. You're not comprehending my point.
They left.
I've never justified
because
that.
Iraq turned on them after 1948.
Ethan,
You're materially wrong. You're a liar.
Recognized that there were numerous reasons why other countries, I know, hard concept, all Arab, they all have the same mindset.
I know, let's go
other
over them,
countries and their
genius.
pan-Arabic nationalist movements as states
Let's
were
go over
being
them.
designed
In Egypt,
mostly by Western
you want to talk
nations.
facts? Let's talk facts.
Ethan,
In
you don't
Egypt.
know, you got fucking a chat GPT summary. Let me explain to you
Hassan,
so you can fucking not look like a dumbass.
Okay, do you want to listen or do you just want to ad hom?
No, I want to tell you my perspective.
No, you want to
this
talk.
Is supposed
That's
to
the
be
problem. You don't want to listen. You've talked
You're supposed
plenty.
to be attacking my perspective.
You called me racist, bro. The least you can do is shut the fuck up and listen to me talk, okay? The Iraqi Jews left because they were in fear of anti-Semitism. They had nothing to do with Israel or Zionism. The Arabs in Iraq, the Iraqis, turned on them because of what happened in the war in 1948. That had nothing to do with them. So if you want to blame the Jews for their own anti-Semitism, you go right ahead, but that's racism. Now let's talk about Egypt.
I also recognize that.
No, you're not. You are absolutely not. In Egypt, 75,000 Jews were displaced. Okay? Following anti-Jewish riots and bombs in Egypt.
Is Egypt Palestinians? Is Egypt Palestinians? Is Iraq Palestinians? Why were the Palestinians
It's got
never
nothing to
allowed
do
to
with that.
return?
They were forced to go there by the
Every
Arab
single one of these
countries.
countries have offered the Jews that were expelled or left on their own
It's time to listen,
voluntarily.
Hasan.
These are completely separate
Nobody's
countries.
justifying
you
the
are
Nakba.
packaging them together
No
to
one
make
is
a
justifying the
horrifying
Nakba. I'm
position.
explaining how it's fucking insanely racist to discredit the plight, the running
No, you're
of
fucking racist
discrimination.
because I don't discredit the plight.
But
I think
I'm not justifying the Nakba. You seem to be justifying why Jews were chased out of their home country.
No, I'm not, Ethan.
Why'd they leave?
I'm not
Why'd they
justifying
leave?
that at all.
Why'd they
think
leave?
That, you think that because you want to drive home a point that
Why
this
did
is
they leave their
anti-Semitic.
communities that have
You
been there
are
for
making-
2,000 years, leaving their money, their
You will
businesses,
never
their homes?
understand.
Why did
I
they
don't think
leave?
you'll understand. Do you think Iraq is Palestine? Do you think Egypt is Palestine?
Nobody's
do you
defending
think,
the
do you
Nakba.
think- Do you think that all Arabs are operating on antiquated anti-Semitism? And if your answer is yes, why the fuck did Jews find the Ottoman Empire to be a safe haven for
Where's the
fucking
Ottoman
hundreds
Empire?
of years?
Let's talk about the last
when
100 years.
Christians
That's
in
great. Yeah, the
Western
Ottoman
Europe
Empire was
were-
great for the Jews. Let's talk about the last 100 years. Let's talk about 1948.
He's Tourette'ing out.
Israel is
After
of
the
course-
war, Hassan, you need to shut the fuck up and listen, okay?
Ooh.
After the
Oh
war,
my God.
after the war, okay, in 1948, there was anti-Jewish riots and bombs in Egypt. Why was that? Because of the Jews? The Jews brought it on themselves? Following the establishment of the Israel...
I never made that inference. What are you talking about?
Of course you did.
No, I didn't. I did not make that inference at all.
So they left because Zionism.
No, Ethan. If you were to listen to my words, and I use them very carefully, even though I get
Yes,
heated
careful,
sometimes.
Right.
Okay? Egypt, Iraq, Morocco, each of these countries where Jews lived in the MENA region all the way to the Levant had different reasons. Some of them were direct pogroms.
Lie.
Others were
You're a liar.
were the colonial.
You're a liar.
You are a tangible,
Liar.
historically-
Liar.
I just said that some of them were because of pogroms. You're not hearing anything I'm saying. You're so conditioned into saying liar
The amount
that you're
that
undermining
left,
your own point.
The amount that left because of Zionism was minute. They were chased out. They were forced to
Ethan.
become Zionists by their oppressors because they had nowhere else to go. In Egypt, following the establishment of Israel in May 1948,
Ethan, none of these countries are Palestine.
That is
none of
an
these
insanely
countries,
irrelevant
these countries
point.
Are,
a series of bombs
Dude, you
targeted
can't make
Jewish
a
areas in
comparison
Cairo between
a
June and
planned ethnic
September.
cleansing campaign
They
and
killed
other
70
countries.
Jews,
That's my point.
injured 200. They confiscated Jewish-owned businesses and synagogues were attacked and destroyed. Okay?
Ethan.
In 1956, the Suez Crisis.
One is direct
1956,
violence,
when
direct planned violence and an extermination campaign.
Approximately 25,000 Jews were expelled from
is
Egypt.
Falsely misplaced hostility.
25,000 Jews were expelled
from other countries.
So are you blaming them?
You don't understand.
Hold on,
this,
are you
and
blaming
will
the
never
Jews for
understand this, I
getting?
don't think.
Are you blaming the Jews for being expelled from Egypt? 25,000 of them.
No, Ethan. If
Okay.
you listen to my words, you would. If there is no Jewish state, that is the underpinning of the Zionist project in general.
Why did you not mention the anti-Semitism? You exclusively talk about Zionism being the reason for forcing them out. Why do you deny that they were expelled by force, the vast majority of them?
Ethan, if you think that that is the entirety of my perspective on this matter,
illuminate me.
You please need to stop talking and listen to the amount of times that I've talked about this.
Bro, just explain yourself.
I'm trying.
I just watched a clip of you being pretty dismissive about the flight. And by the way, you've done it this whole time. You say that Zionism was the main force.
No, I'm dismissive about the aspect that this is beneficial to the Zionist project across the board. Because Israel wants all Jews to be constantly fucking terrified in any other country that's not Israel, so that they can actually go and either support Israel if they're not in Israel, or just move to Israel. That is the entire point. That is what Jabotinsky wanted. That is what Herzl wanted, and that is precisely what Benjamin Netanyahu wants as well. So in terms of my explanation, or what I come across as dismissive, is precisely the role that Israel itself played in this process.
Which was minuscule.
Because it was a mutually beneficial relationship.
Minuscule.
That anti-Semitic pogrom.
Minuscule. What you fail to acknowledge is that the Jews were forced to become Zionists, not by choice, but by necessity, because the Arab countries turned on them after the war and forced them to go to the only state that they could go to.
It's a necessity for Israel to exist, which is what your position is, right?
No, it's not about what was allowed or not. The Arabs created 1 million Zionists because they're anti-Semitic after the war of 1948 and fucking the rise of Arab nationalism. Do you deny that?
You brought up
Do you deny what I just said?
Wait, say it again.
Do you
I wasn't
deny
listening.
what I just said?
Say it again. I wasn't listening.
900,000 Jews, approximately 700 to 900,000, were forced to become Zionists, not by choice, but because they were forced out. The vast majority went to the fucking Arabs. The anti-Semitic Arabs.
There you go.
There you go. What? That's my point. Are you okay?
I rest my case.
Okay, well, I mean, you can...
No, you're too fucking delusional to realize what kind of racist nonsense you're fucking chirping on. That was my entire point.
Historic.
Thank you.
I mean, it's historical. You don't know anything of what you're talking about. Avi Schleim, once again, because you don't want to contend, you like to use him when it's convenient, he left not because they were Zionists. They left because they were afraid.
Fucking Arabs. What was Avi Schleim, by the way?
Yeah, he was an Arab Jew.
Also, Zionist Jews killed Jews in the Holocaust. Oops, I said that. Sorry.
That way, they kicked his ass out. I'm not saying fucking Arabs. There's a reason for it. There was a rise in Arab nationalism following the 1948 war. They blamed their own Jewish populace for what Israel did. That's anti-Semitism. They had nothing to do. Do you think the Iraqi Jews left their 2,000-year-old communities, left their businesses, left their houses because they wanted to go to Israel? Are you fucking mad?
Ethan, remember a while back I tweeted and you got really mad when I said that there's a double standard between Islamophobia and anti-Semitism?
There's absolutely a double standard, and you exhibit it, my friend.
And you're participating in it right now without even recognizing that you're doing so.
I mean, I'm just telling you literally what happened.
It's just historical racism. All Arabs are not responsible.
Do people never get racist? Do people never be? I'm explaining why. I'm not blaming anyone. I'm just explaining why. After the 1948 war, the rise of Arab nationalism created a lot of anti-Semitism, and that's why the vast majority of the Jews, the 900,000 of them, were forced to immigrate. That's a fact. That is a historical fact.
Ethan, I'm sorry to say this, and I don't know if your audience gets this as well, but what you just said earlier is not an accurate reflection of history. It's just pure racism.
How do you know that?
How
do you know that it's not real?
Shifting the blame over to the entirety of Arabs.
It absolutely was the blame of the Arabs.
At a time when every single one of these Arab countries
with
their own version of pan-Arabic nationalism, half of them were already still controlled, by the way, by fucking European colonial powers like Vichy France.
That was literally just in Tunisia.
The Moroccan expulsion program, and you're using that as a similarity between the planned expulsion of 750,000 Palestinians.
I mean, the details are different, but
plenty of anti-Semitism in England too. Notice how you don't fucking say all Europe,
because it's all Muslims now.
Concentration camps in the UK.
But you say all Arabs.
Okay.
The point, you
know what's funny?
In terms of the death and destruction on the apartheid structure, by the way,
Nelson
it is
Mandela
incomprehensible to compare that. Because the situation
are clearly have some kind of brain disease, and we need to do something about it.
No, for sure. Ethan, please keep up the energy as though you feel that there is a genocide going on. because your output is what matters here, and that is what I was trying to get across to you and get across to your audience. If you think that
I acknowledge that I acknowledge that I could talk about it more, and I should make more of an effort to talk about it.
Okay, thank you. Instead of going after
and you should try not to be a fucking raging anti-Semite for a day.
What?
If you can try not to be a raging anti-Semite for a day, then we can shake hands.
Ethan, I don't think you actually believe that I'm anti-Semitic. I think you're hysterical.
You should watch back the first part of this interview.
What?
You should watch back the first part of this interview. That is.
I don't think that makes you look good.
Okay, well, I guess we'll wait and see.
Yeah,
Unfortunately, I think your people are going to think it makes you look good, and then everybody else is going to think that might look good. Like, who gives a fuck? At the end of the day,
I'm sure
it's
that
not a swastika. It's just the swastika sword. It's not a swastika. It's just the sword that I called the swastika sword. Got it. All right, have a good night, Hasan.
Oh, all right,
I gotta go. All right,
you too, buddy.
You take care, bud.
All right.
Old friends, together at last.
Bye, Hasan.
Give Kai our love. Give Kai.
Alright, that was some of the worst shit ever. Alright. I'm done.